Let me introduce the moderator of both the awarding ceremonies of CPN's Most Valuable Partner for 2020 and the Ako Para sa Bata webinar on violence against children and violence against women research during COVID-19 at 10 a.m. later. We are honored to have him back. He was the moderator of the first ever Ako Para sa Bata 2020 webinar. I'm sure you remember him. The moderator today is Dr. Mario Festin. He is a Professor 12 and Vice Chair of Obstetrics and Gynecology Department of the University of the Philippines College of Medicine. Dr. Festin is a convener of the Philippine Study Group for Reproductive Health of the National Institutes of Health in UP Manila. Our dear Ako Para sa Bata community and members of the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, let us give a warm welcome to Dr. Mario R. Festin. Over to you, Dr. Festin.
Thank you, Rizzy. Good morning to everybody. I'm glad to be moderating today's activities. I'm also very honored to be part of the advisory board of the Child Protection Network. And the Child Protection Network Foundation is has been doing a lot of good work, but they know they cannot do this alone. So it gives due recognition to the organizations and institutions that provide vital assistance to ensure that all children are protected from abuse and neglect, and that proper care is provided. To proceed with our uh, activities this morning, may I call on the Executive Director of the Child Protection Network and the Head of the Child Protection Unit in PGH, Dr. Bernadette J. Madrid, my classmate, to formally open today's program. Over to you, Benny. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, Thank you. Thank you, Mario. Uh, and thank you also for accepting to moderate this very important day. Uh, may I first greet Dr. Cristia Padolina, the President of POGS, and Dr. Lira Chua Clemente, the Chair of the Gender and RH Committee of POGS, as well as the delegates and the fellows and diplomates of the Philippine Obstetric and Gynecological Society. Good morning. And we've also have with us the very loyal delegates of the Ako Para sa Bata conference. All of them child advocates and leaders also in their respective fields and workers in the front lines. So today is a very important day because we are going to honor our most valuable partner for 2020. And this is the first time that we are giving the award to a medical society. Before, everyone felt that doctors were not really pulling their weight, that it's very difficult for doctors to be involved in the field of women and child protection because nobody wants to go to court. But our awardee for today really pioneered this field of doctors, specialists to that matter, even surgeons to that for that matter, becoming involved in giving their valuable time and services to abuse women and children, and to see to it that the trainees in the field are well trained to manage any case that they may have who are abused. For today, we are going to really give this award and honor to the Philippine Obstetrics and Gynecological Society. So I will pause here for the moment as we proceed with our program. So welcome everyone.
Thank you, Bernie. And indeed, the goal to prevent violence against women and children is a united effort. And actually, one of the few cases I had to go to court as a doctor was on a violence case against a 3-year-old child. So, and the CPU was not yet around at that time. So it's very important that the obstetricians, the doctors actually help. And with POGS, um, to share the milestones of the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society on its response to gender-based violence and violence against women, may I call on who is probably, I consider, one of the real brave women in POGS, my dear colleague, Dr. Lira Chua. Lira is the chair of the Gender-Based Violence Committee of the POGS. She was the past president. She has also received the highest academic award of POGS, the Baldomero Rojas Lecture Award. She was a pioneer in ultrasound services in the Philippines after training at the University of Tokyo. I won't mention the year because she is forever young for many of us. And to present the milestones of the Philippine OBGYN Society, may I call on Dr. Lira Ruth Clemente. Lira, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here. And usually this slide is put at the end, but I would like to put it at the beginning because I would like to give our heartfelt thank you to the Child Protection Network Foundation for giving this award for Most Valuable Partner 2020 to the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, the POGS, of which I am a member, during this Ako Para sa Bata conference today. So yes, as was mentioned, POGs are the pioneers. And in fact, we really have come a long way from when we started. And the first step that we took for gender-based violence was increasing awareness among the POGs members. And what did we emphasize? We emphasized that the POGs members, the obstetricians and gynecologists are in a privileged position because the women that we take care of will show us their most intimate parts. In fact, the parts that sometimes they would not even show to their husbands. So we also emphasize that violence is an issue for health workers, including us, because for many women who have been abused, health workers are the main and often the only point of contact with services which may be able to offer support and information. And the GBV has a direct negative impact on several important health issues, including safe motherhood, family planning, and the prevention of sexually transmitted diseases and HIV/AIDS. So the next step was to incorporate and integrate GBV in the POGS residency training curriculum. And again, this is how we started, recognizing the need for POGS members to realize that domestic violence was a neglected aspect of women's healthcare in the Philippines, because sometimes obstetricians are too embarrassed to ask the woman why she has a black eye or why she has a lot of injuries on her body. So the 2003 POGS president, so that's me, formed the ad hoc committee for violence against women, or VAW, with a mandate to create awareness of this issue throughout the POGS regions. Also at this time, the mission and vision of the POGS was crafted, and this is the mission that we have now, to increase awareness of women's health issues through advocacy programs. But in the original, this is already the updated version, but in the original version, the words were to foster women's advocacy. And so this is the original one. And here you are, fostering women's advocacy were the very words that we used. So here are our milestones. During my presidency in 2003, as I mentioned, we created the ad hoc committee on VOW, and we included the women's advocacy and the POGS mission vision that was crafted. In 2004, we started countrywide awareness seminars orientation courses, introductory workshops, and we included VOW in lectures during the POG's CME activities. In 2005, we accomplished the institutionalization of the Women's Advocacy Committee, and we held the first workshop with the Philippine Board of OBGYN on the integration of RH into the residency training programs, and this was in partnership with the United Nations FPA. Then also we partnered with BioFam, which was then newly formed. This was the Unilab arm for women's healthcare. And this committee went with us to all the major regions of the Philippines, holding one-day workshops for VOW. And so therefore, from an ad hoc committee, it evolved into the POG's Women's Advocacy Committee, or the WAC, during the terms of successive POG's presidents, and we incorporated VOW with other reproductive health components, thus affirming VOW in the POG's stream of consciousness. In 2005, POGS formally partnered with UN Population Fund under the presidency of Dr. Evelyn Palaypayon, with Dr. Ray De Los Reyes as the RH committee chair then. And this was followed by the integration of RH in the residency training program in 2006. So therefore, at that time, the inclusion of RH in the was included in the revised PBOG manual and in the certifying exam blueprint. We established referral networks, we strengthened WAC, and we continued training of identified doctors who we hope would become the point person in the WAC. And we also had other plans, and hopefully, luckily, we were able to accomplish some of them. All regional directors to appoint a chair for the regional WAC, to produce a handbook for VOW, to produce a CPG for GBV, to create a logo and posters for the committee. So we intended to hold a logo making contest, but this has not been done yet. And of course, to partner with DOH, UNFPA, and the NGOs, and specifically with the UPPGH Child Protection Unit and the Children's Protection Network Foundation. In 2008, the first edition of the source book on gender-based violence by Dr. Laila Reyes was published. And this was with support also from the UNFPA and Dr. Bernadette Madrid, Darlene Stewart, and the rest were mentioned here. A second edition was published in 2012. Subsequently, all of the RH topics, specifically GBV, were incorporated in the POG's annual conventions, in the postgraduate courses, the workshop seminars, and all of the other activities of POG's and the POG's accredited institutions. And the committee was now named the Reproductive Health Advocacy Committee. Research was encouraged, and this webinar later is very pertinent for this particular aspect of our involvement. Was encouraged to determine local prevalence and the conditions of gender-based violence in their communities. Into 2012, the PBOG Training of Trainers workshop held one GBV themed activity. So here we are in 2015. We developed the task force was formed, and we developed the instructional design and came up with the GBV modules to be incorporated in the PBOG training curriculum in partnership still with Child Protection Network and the UNFPA. And in 2016, we finalized the instructional design and the modules during the first quarter, disseminated to the PBOG during the third quarter, again with CPN and UNFPA, and we published the ID in the POG's annual report of that year, 2016. So let me just mention and give honor to the members of my committee who came up with the instructional design. We have Tito Naval, Grace Doromal, Connie Alfiler, this is me, Chi Gianan Cruz, Flor Miel, and Chris Soriano. We don't have a picture of Dr. Rebecca Ramos and Dr. Lynette Lasala, who came in later. And here we are in one of our meetings. There's Bernie Madrid, and this is Tere Clemente, who were always with us during each and every meeting that we had. So the instructional design is an outcomes-based curriculum, and at the end of the training, our goal was for the trainees to be able to, number one, practice gender-sensitive and evidence-based strategies in caring for victim survivors of VOW-G. Number two, to demonstrate effective collaboration with government and non-government organizations that are relevant for the care of victim survivors of VOW-G, and to create programs to promote advocacy on preventing violence against women and girls in the family and community. So I'll just skip over this, but this will be given to the CPN, and the specific objectives are such. And here we are also with more of the specific objectives. And so that instructional design was presented to the POGS chairs and training officers last July 31, 2016 in a conference, a whole day conference. And here are the attendees. There's Bernie Madrid, there's Pam Godoy, who was with us from the UNFPA, Reggie De La Paz, Darlene Stewart, and here's the late Dr. Mimi Bismarck, who was also vice president at that time, and she was very, very active in all of our activities. Now, the Department of Health issued in 2013 the AO 2013-011, and it mandated that all the entire health sector, and including the private healthcare facilities, to come up with their own desks in all of these hospitals. So in 2017, we participated in the Right Shop on the finalization of guidelines on the establishment of violence against women and children protection desks in all hospitals. And we emphasize that we don't need to have a unit, just a desk in all hospitals would already be in accordance with this AO of the DOH. And here we are with Dr. Mon Maso from DOH, Bernie Madrid, and yes, that's me. And there's Pam Godoy who were with us. And these are some of the POGS members who participated in the Right Shop. So we now have completed the partnerships that we planned for. And in 2017, we began the training of the trainers for all of the regions of the POGS. We started with the NCR hospitals held in the POGS building. Then for Visayas and Mindanao, this was a very well attended TOT in Cebu City. And for South Luzon and Northern Luzon in F1 Hotel in BGC Taguig. And these are the topics that the basic topics that we discussed. Every now and then we would add something more depending on the needs of that particular community. But all of these were included in the conferences in the TOTs that we held. So let me just go through some of the pictures we had. This was in 2018 in Baguio City. There we are enjoying just having our photo ops. In Dumaguete City, yeah, there's Bernie there, and there's there for Region 6 and 7, we held it in Dumaguete City. And this is the task force with the RH chair, Dr. Pilar Lagmandi at that time. And then we went to Clark Angeles in March 23 to 24, 2019. And so here we are, also a well-attended session with a lot of surprises. There's Dr. The mother of Region 4. And then here we are also with the Regional Director, Presi, Eclarin. These are some of the attendees there. And then we went to Coronadal, yes, July 2019. Again, a very well attended session. And of course, even after work or even before work, we had some tourism activities. So we were brought to Dole in Coronadal City. Then we went on a Lake Cebu lake cruise. So I just want to show you that it was not all work. We also had play. And we were able to participate in the Harvest Festival of Coronadal City during that time. So then the last webinar, face-to-face webinar we had was Legazpi City, October 2019 with the Regional Director, Ana Yang Garcia C. And here we are with, we're almost complete here no, with Dr. Rebecca Ramos. And yes, these are some of the attendees. Some had already gone home. And here we are preparing for the conference. And of course, with Legazpi City, you cannot go without having a picture op with Mayon. And we were lucky. Mayon gave us a beautiful, very clear picture of the cone when we landed in Legazpi. And of course, that's Dr. Pilar Lagmandi doing the usual photo op in the Kagsawa ruins. Now, in the time of COVID, what did we do? So at this time, we had Dr. Henrietta Lucasan or Et, the Regional Director of Region 6, who is now a member of the Board of Trustees. And there is Dr. Lucasan, and all of our meetings and all of our webinars were held online. And so we came up, this is chiefly Dr. Lucasan's project. We came up with an infographic in support of our frontliners because early during the COVID times, the frontliners were abused. Some were even kicked out of their boarding houses, and some were even spot on, or some suffered burns from something thrown to their faces. So we came up with this infographic. And then we held our very first webinar in July 9, 2020. It was a GBV during the pandemic. The theme was a closer look inside the lockdown. So we had Dr. Bernie again talking on the impact of COVID-19 on the rise of abuse. Lockdown, is it more dangerous than COVID-19? And then we had Dr. Mary Judith Clemente, lockdown, the secrets behind the closed doors. And then we had Dr. Erwin de Mesa talking on sexual violence and RTI, which is often neglected. And I would like to announce already at this point our second webinar, which will be held this afternoon at 4 p.m. So I would like to invite everyone to attend this. This is open for everyone. And we are going to have a very, very interesting topic because it's focused on teenage pregnancy, and the theme is Nanay na si Nene. No? Dr. Sharon Gianan Cruz, or Chi, will talk on teenage pregnancy, a gender issue. Then we have our very own Junice Demetrio Melgar, who will talk about dilemmas in teenage pregnancy prevention. And lastly, this promises to be a very, very informative and lively discussion by Dr. Attorney Katrina Legarda, Laws to Protect Women and Children, Insights from a Legal Expert. So please join us later today at 4 o'clock. Now let me just end with my last few slides. Why are we here? Why is the POGS involved now? We are here because in 2003, we had a dream that one day POGS members will consider GBV as an important part of women's health care, and that obstetrician gynecologists will include abuse as a factor that greatly affects the health of the woman, and will be able to give the appropriate response and intervention to the survivor of VAUC. We are here because we have been granted a special professional privilege of being physicians to women by virtue of our unique knowledge of female anatomy and physiology and our training in their medical care. We are given the privilege of being privy to their most intimate parts. It is now time to go beyond the biomedical, the purely obstetrical and gynecological, and deal with them as individuals with human rights, with sexual and reproductive rights, as well as persons with various roles and tasks in their daily lives. And we are here because our International Society of Gynecology and Obstetrics has mandated that all member countries uphold women's sexual and reproductive rights in all aspects of our interactions with them. We are here because we want you to be a friend and an advocate for the women and their children who come into our spheres of influence. So as my last slide, I would like to quote Dietrich Bonhoeffer: "Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. Not to speak is to speak, and not to act is to act." Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lyra. It's very nice to hear the story. Nice to hear the story of the evolution of the programs of POGS related to protection of women and children against violence. I would now like to call on Dr. Bernie and Attorney Katrina Legarda, the Director of the National Network of Women and Children Protection Units.
Thank you, Mario. Dr. Lira Chua, that was really a very excellent presentation.
Thank
And
you.
in fact, I will quote you this afternoon. I have a presentation at the World Health Organization meeting of 60 countries,
Wow.
where
Okay.
the theme is it takes health to stop violence. And I think POGS is the very epitome of that.
Okay.
And Mario, if you'd like to be also in the picture, Mario also worked for the World Health
Yeah. Yeah.
Organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so we have very important people here today in this awarding ceremony. So I would like now to present this plaque. To the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, and together with Attorney Katrina Legarda and Dr. Mario Festin, who is part of the advisory board of the Child Protection Network. I would like to read first the plaque. The Child Protection Network Foundation Incorporated awards the most valuable partner to the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society in recognition of its impact on the lives of abused women and children through the years of advocacy and service. As was presented by Dr. Chua, it has been a long time, but it's very rare to see your dream come true. And I think today is a recognition that your dream in 2003 has indeed come true. So, POGS is a pioneer in responding to gender based violence as it integrates women and child protection in the obstetrics and gynecological residency training curriculum. Given this 19th day of November 2020, on the occasion of the 12th Ako Para sa Bata held via Zoom. So, signed by Irene Martel Francisco, President of the Board of Trustees of CPN, and myself. So here you are,
Turn it
our
around,
plaque.
Bernie.
I will
Christian.
give to Dr. Cristia Padolina, the president of POGS. This is our heartfelt gratitude for being a partner with us, and not only our partner, but for all that you have done for abused women and children in the country. So thank you.
Congr- uh,
Yes.
Congratulations. I'm very happy to be part of the giver and the receiver. I'm the Protection Unit Advisory Board. I'm also with the POG. So
Yes.
congratulations to all of us. But before I call on Christia, I also like to congratulate her because we just finished our hybrid online annual convention with
Yes. Yes. Yes.
6,000 attendees, and it was online and partly hybrid. So may I now call on our dear friend, the president of the Philippine OBGYN Society, Dr. Cristia Padulina. Cristia, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mario. And yes, we have successfully launched our first hybrid annual convention and 74th anniversary celebration. Surely a new platform, but with the same objectives and goals. And part of it is this partnership. In behalf of the Philippine Board of Obstetrics and Gynecology, I am truly honored to accept this prestigious award as valuable partner of the Child Protection Unit. And I would like to thank the organizers, our esteemed organizers, for providing this award. Despite a very challenging year, 2020, there's still a silver lining for all of us. Of all the awards that POGS has received, I think this award is truly close to all our hearts. We are not daunted by the challenge. Instead, we will use this award as an inspiration to strive and explore for other possibilities in order to help out in terms of curbing this silent pandemic of violence against children and women. Sa ating mga nanonood ngayon, maraming salamat po sa passion, sa puso, sa pagbibigay dito sa ating objective in terms of reaching out and ensuring that we strive against violence against women and children. Sabi nga ng ating past president na si Dr. Lira, the journey has been long and arduous, but at the end of the journey, we are able to appreciate each other. We are able to capacitate each other. It is now time to act, transition from advocacy to action, and we're doing that precisely. And just to showcase the commitment that POGS, the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, the premier organization for OBGYN, we will ensure that we are there being involved, engaged, and we will showcase that there is no exclusivity to responsibility. Our trainees would feel better, would be more confident to attend to all of this with you around. Kayo po ang inspirasyon namin. Si Dr. Lira, kailangan namin para mag-inspire, mag-develop ng young people who would have the same passion on this advocacy. Natatakot po ang mga doktor pumunta sa korte. But if we are able to start very young and tell them that this is the right step, incorporate them in the training, gain confidence and capability, surely we are in the right direction. Right direction in sharing the responsibility in nation building. We could do more. We will do more. Maraming salamat po. From POGS, thank you, and we are looking forward to this commitment and responsibility. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you very much, Christia. I see the happiness in your face, and also with Lira. And
Yes.
congratulations to the entire POGS.
Naiiyak nga ako eh. I'm touched. I am truly touched.
Bawal umiyak kasi nakakatawa yan. We are still living in a time of the pandemic, but many of us still consider gender-based violence as a silent pandemic. And as with many pandemics, the case management is often difficult because of a lack of knowledge and information, but especially now, a lack of access to services. It's really very important to be aware of gender-based violence because we need to have a high index of suspicion, as what Lira said. If we don't think about it, if we don't ask about it, we will not find it. We also should be able to collect the correct and the proper evidence to treat it properly, medically and legally, because it has to be a multi-specialty, multidisciplinary approach. But we also need to have a caring attitude for these victims. They have already gone through a bad experience. We don't want them to have another traumatic or bad experience. And I'm very happy that POGS is able to institutionalize this program in both its in-service and pre-service training, and to also have the continued advocacy and training program and sustained through the years. And we have seen how it has grown from a small group of interested people to a wide network of not only service providers, but even local and regional advocates for gender-based violence. So we are able to have this really as a big program. So thank you very much, and congratulations again to folks.